The No Nonsense Roundtable, a weekly radio show and podcast where host Dom Genova interviews guests from all walks of life, all with amazing stories to tell. And now, here's your host, Dom Genova.
Well, welcome everybody to the second half of our Memorial Day show, and we just had a wonderful presentation about, a little history of the day and what it means to us. And to be talking about a little more current issues, we have Bob Wolter here, who is the Veterans Engagement Specialist for Livingston County. So thank you for being here, and thank you for your service.
Thank you. Good morning. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So let's start out with a little bit about you. What branch of the service were you in, and how did you get started in this, and so forth and so on?
So I was Army. I wound up doing 27 years. I started because I wasn't a great student, and I didn't have a lot of college opportunities. So after a couple months of doing nothing after graduation, I figured I better get some direction and discipline in my life. So I decided to join the Army, and I wound up going to Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Turned out to be about 5 years. And my wife currently will be married for 27 years this year. When she was an Army brat, so she had traveled the world with her father. And when my first enlistment came up, I knew I was going to Korea, drill sergeant or recruiting, which meant a lot of hours away or off away from family. So she wasn't keen to that. So we decided to get out, and I came back to New York. And I joined the Army National Guard out of Geneseo and promptly got deployed. So,
okay, where were you deployed to?
We were deployed stateside in support of Homeland Security for post 9/11 operations. So I spent a year at Niagara Falls Air Force Base guarding the Red Line and protecting the assets they had there. And through that, they hired me as a full-time AGR, which is active guard or reserve, which is just like active duty without a main post. So I refocused and wound up doing a full career and retiring as a sergeant major out of Utica, New York, which was a 2108th Infantry Operations Sergeant Major.
And didn't you say you were jumping out of planes?
Yeah, so the first...
let's not touch on that. Okay. Let's. I mean, that's fascinating. I mean, let's talk about that.
Okay, so for me, when I did decide to go to the Army, I took the ASVAB and passed. I had a lot of job opportunities in the military, and they asked me what I wanted to be, and I couldn't decide. So they asked if I had any family that had served, and my great uncle Bob was a paratrooper in the World War.
Oh, God.
So wonderful. There's always a picture of him on my parents' piano at home. So I mentioned it, and the guy was looking at the clock. It was 4:30 at MEPS, and he was probably wanting to go home for the weekend. And he said, "How would you like to follow in his footsteps?" And I said, "Sure." So I was airborne infantry in my contract and shipped down to Fort Benning and went through basic AIT and over to airborne school, follow on to Fort Bragg, and that's where I spent 5 years jumping out of perfectly good airplanes.
You're the first paratrooper I think I've interviewed in all my days here.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. We had a lot of different disciplines, but this is the first time. That has got to be really unnerving. What's the best thing and the worst thing about being a paratrooper?
The best thing is the quiet when you get out of the plane. It's just chaos, and all of a sudden it's dead silent, and you're just floating to the ground. So that's probably the best thing. The worst thing is, as fun as it sounds to jump out of a plane, the Army has found a way to take the fun out of it.
Oh my God, that sounds like some type of bizarre Saturday Night Live skit or something like that. You know, we do more things than most people do before. We do more things before 9 than most people do all day long. I never thought that was really a great recruiting thing, but we take the fun out of anything having to do with airplanes. So I kind of got that. So let's get a little bit into the weeds about our veterans now. Now I know it's Memorial Day, and Memorial Day is more than hot dogs and hamburgers and spending time with your family, and to the point, this is not Veterans Day, so it's not like you go and thank a veteran, but there's nothing stopping you from reflecting on what our veterans have done for us. what we can do for them. I love that JFK thing. It's not what you can do for what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. So what can we do? What can we do for vets? And the other thing is that the opportunities that you found when you enlisted. I mean, we talked about this before the show. There are two types of people, generally speaking, that I've seen when I've been interviewing veterans. There's the person who, Nick Stavanovich. Now Nick, it was 9/11. He got pissed off. He joins the Marines. He wants to go. He wants to go. Get revenge. Okay, and Amy Fowle, another veteran, she says, well, I needed a career path, and I was kind of floating. Okay, and that's why I enlisted, because I could get a marketable skill, and it's a great career, especially 20 years you can retire, right? So you were in the latter, but the thing is that our vets all have needs. Okay, and there are needs that we're recognizing now. We talked about this before the show, that weren't recognized years ago. Okay, so let's talk about what you do about our vets now, and the concept. When you see a vet, thank a vet.
Absolutely.
Right. So let's kind of go into that. So tell me what you do and the whys and wheres of it.
Yeah, so I'm the manager of the Dwyer program for Livingston County. And the Joseph P. Dwyer program is a statewide program in New York State that focuses on veteran-to-veteren or peer-to-peer non-clinical support. And that's the important part. The number is 22 a day. Recent reports say it's down to 17 and a half veterans. I don't know how we lose a half a veteran, but 17 and a half veterans a day now commit suicide, according to recent statistics. But until that number is zero, just like the old days when the Legion or the VFW started up, I believe this is a way for veterans to own it, take ownership of this problem, and bring all our vets home. As you said, on Memorial Day, we reflect on those that we've lost that paid the ultimate sacrifice, and that's important because they didn't die for nothing. We exist free in this world and the liberties we have because of the sacrifice they were willing to put out there. And though I made it home through my deployments and I'm all right, there are some unseen scars that we all carry. And some of our brothers and sisters did make it home physically, but not mentally. And we all swore an oath to bring them home. So we're going to own this problem through this non-clinical peer-to-peer program and solve it, hopefully, through socializing in different atmospheres. We do fishing, painting, hiking, bowling. We do meals. Whatever that social activity or event is, it's just to get the veterans together to know that they're not isolated and that they're not alone and that there's a whole community out here looking to help them. So that's what I do for Livingston County, but it is in every county. All 62 counties in New York State have a Dwyer program. And you can find how they run it or what they're doing in your neck of the woods by going to New York State Dwyer Coalition. And they have an interactive map. You just click on your county and it'll link it to whatever organization is running the Dwyer program in their county.
Something just dawned on me. And you talk about the veterans who paid the ultimate price. You could be talking to a veteran now who is going to pay the ultimate price.
Yeah.
In a suicide.
Absolutely.
And you have no idea.
100%. And those are the ones that we want to reach. That's what this program is for. Not specifically, hey, only come and focus on your mental health. What I like to say to my veterans is it doesn't matter if you're in a stable spot in life right now. This program is for you. Or if you're struggling with something, whether it's mentally, financially, educationally, whatever your struggle is, if I'm not the one that's connecting with them, if I'm not the peer that's connecting with them, maybe that veteran that went through the fire that is now stable is the peer that connects with a veteran that we don't know is struggling. Or we all know a veteran that sits at home right now that won't leave their house. Those are the ones that we need to reach out to that and just let them know we exist in the world. And we're out here trying to fight the fight and get them re-engaged, reassess where they're at in life, reconnected with the veteran community, and then ultimately reintegrated into life, into society, into feeling like they belong again.
So how many veterans do you serve?
So our county is anywhere from 3,400 to 4,500 veterans, depending on day-to-day moving, coming, going, deaths or whatever. Uniquely, I believe we've touched about 1,200 veterans through our program. Unique once-off visits. So I think the problem is a lot of veterans just don't know this program exists. And by nature, we're a little cynical. We always think there's a hook. You know, Uncle Sam sometimes doesn't show us the best things. There's some bad parts of service, so we always think there's some angle. But this program truly is the one program that I found that doesn't have an angle. We just want to get veterans and families out there socializing with each other and making those human connections that hopefully save lives.
So the people that are listening to us, they're from Monroe County. Well, it's probably a 50-mile radius at least around Rochester. So you said these organizations, are they by county or is it region or
yeah,
what?
So the Dwyer program, the magic in the Dwyer program is the fact that every county can make it what it needs to be to support the veterans in their community. So that's a double-edged sword. But your county can run it like our county right now. I work for the county. I run it as a county program, but you can also contract it out to nonprofit organizations. So depending on what your county does and how they run it is how it can be executed.
Can somebody from outside of Livingston County participate in your program?
Absolutely. I have veterans from all different counties come to our programs. I get paid to run the Livingston County service or the program for Livingston County, so I prioritize Livingston County veterans. Meaning, if I have a first-time participant, I've never seen them sign up, they're going to get a seat always. And then I'll go to Livingston County, and then if you're outside the county, if I have seats available, you're coming. Oh,
that's wonderful to know because I mean, this station has a big reach, and I have a big reach on my email, my YouTubes too. So, so how do people get in touch with you?
So they can get in touch with me. That we have a website that I curate for the county that speaks specifically to all the Dwyer programs that we do, and that is www.livcovets, livcovets.com. And on there, it'll link to all the monthly social activities that we're doing. And like tomorrow, we're going to go down to Sprague's Maple Tree Farms and have a brunch at 11 o'clock.
Oh.
So we got a group of veterans that we're going to take down there and just buy them brunch and hang out. We just did our poppy maintenance day over at our county memorial. Group of veterans came out. We cleaned it up, touched up some paint, had some burgers and dogs. And we're just out there making sure that veterans know we're out here for each other. And if the government can't help us solve the 22 a day, then we need to solve it ourselves.
Well, it sounds like it's a family.
Absolutely. That's what we're trying to grow again.
Yeah, and the thing is, you have experiences that are very hard for us that were non-combatants, if I want to call it that, never in the military, can really relate to. I mean, you unless you were there, I mean, unless you jumped out of a plane, you don't know what it's like to jump out of a plane.
Yeah.
Well, thank God there are people that do things the way that you do. And we were talking about this before the show too. Back in the day, and the First World War, they called it shell shocked, and then it got changed and morphed, and actually, I would say during the Vietnam era, just ignored the struggles that vets had and treated so horribly.
Yeah,
coming back from Vietnam and treated so horribly, and the thing is that whether you were drafted or you enlisted, you still served this country.
And that's what's good about the Dwyer program is it doesn't look at your service as you had to go to combat or you didn't.
Yeah.
It looks at it as if you wore the uniform for one day or 40 years, if you had an honorable discharge or a bad conduct discharge, it doesn't matter. You're a veteran and you qualify to come out for this program. And it doesn't mean that if you were a guy or a gal that served for 2 years and got injured and had to leave service, it doesn't mean you're any less of a veteran. you are still a veteran. You signed the dotted line. You were willing to give your life for whatever they asked you to do. And if you're a Cold War veteran, even more so. Just because you didn't get a chance to go anywhere does not mean you're not a veteran, and you need to get engaged and come out and be proud of that.
That is really great to hear. There's an individual that was in the reserves, and his name is Don Alhart. A lot of people know that Don Alhart was in the reserves. And one of the things, I don't know if it was him or somebody else was saying to me, said he was talking to somebody, some veteran, they said, "Oh, you were in the reserves," like it was something that
it was a disease.
It wasn't as honorable as there was like a second class. But no, you're in the reserves. You could be called up at any time anyway, and you had to go through the discipline, and you had to get up in the morning when somebody told you to get up and go someplace where somebody told you to go, and you had no choice in the whole matter. So there's a lot of dignity and honor to that, and like I said, thank you for coming on the show. I think we're going to do some good communicating this. Now, let's give that website again, if you would, please.
www.livcovets.com. LIVCOVETS.com.
And happy Memorial Day. Now, the other thing, I'm going to give a little commercial for this. There are plenty of really nice parades and presentations going on. The one in Avon, the one in Honey Eye Falls is great. The idea of everybody getting together, spending some time with these wonderful veterans, and listen to the solemnity of the day, and then going enjoying the day with your family. But see a veteran, say thank you for your service. I don't think I've ever had a veteran not appreciate that.
Yeah.
And thank God for what you've done and what you're doing.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks for listening. You can find our previous shows at nononsenseroundtable.com. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll make more.